Hey everyone, welcome to Sideshow's First Look. Today we're taking a look at the War Machine Mark I die-cast 6-scale figure by Hot Toys from Iron Man 2. The box is a slip-case design. The sleeves front and left side feature a wraparound graphical representation of War Machine in Ben-Day dotted shades of silver and gray and cobalt blue. A blue band around the box's bottom hosts the War Machine name as well as the various logos. Coming around the right side, we see the familiar black styrofoam box that contains the figure embossed with militaristic livery. Removing that box reveals the War Machine name stamped into the top of that styrofoam, and we can also see an additional plastic clamshell for various accessories. Opening both the styrofoam tray and the plastic clamshell reveals a wealth of display options. There's War Machine in the middle of the foam, surrounded by all of the basic accessories, including 5 interchangeable hands, a swap-out battle-damaged faceplate, and a glorious portrait of Don Cheadle as Colonel James Rhodes. The plastic clamshell plays host to a ton of display option fun, with this selection of battle-damaged armor and weapon parts, as well as a notorious Hammertech rocket, the minigun with ammo belt, an environmental display base with stand, and these 4 pieces to cover up the exposed mechanical elements on War Machine's legs. Taking War Machine and the accessories out of the box gives a better impression of just how much is included with this figure. There he is, all hulking presence standing on the assembled environmental base. Next to him is the alternative James Rhodes portrait. Over here we have all the battle damage components, including those for the pauldron, the chest plate, the back boosters, the faceplate, the Gatling gun, the rocket pod, and the left forearm. There's also these 4 armor plates for covering up those exposed bits on the lower legs, and the rocket for the shoulder launcher. And of course, what would War Machine be without his Gatling gun? And spread out here we see all of the extra hands, including 1 pair of hands with articulating fingers, 1 pair of repulsor palms, and a single right saluting hand. Alright, taking a closer look at War Machine, you notice immediately that there's a lot to unpack. The armor itself features that familiar silver and gunmetal gray paint scheme, articulated here and there with stenciled military designations and insignia, as well as a tasteful amount of weathering. Die-cast elements are in abundance and make the figure a weighty beast. The faceplate is removable, and doing so allows you also to remove the crown, which exposes the battery compartment and the switch for the light-up eyes. It's important to note that while the faceplates will fit over Rhodey's face on the alternate portrait, there will obviously be no light-up feature with that portrait. Moving down to the shoulders, each of them hosts a hidden weapon, a rocket pod on the right shoulder that you can expose like so, and a single-shot missile launcher on the left that they call the ex-wife. Coming around to the back, the Gatling gun mount sits at the back of the neck, and the cannon can be friction fit into this snug keyhole here. By pressing here, you'll expose the hardware for removing the cover hiding the battery compartment for the arc reactor's light-up feature. The switch for that feature lies up here just below the Gatling gun mount. These 2 panels open up to expose the booster rockets in the back, and both of them can be removed and replaced with a battle damage substitute. Rotating these arm cannons like this will reveal the battery compartment for the repulsor palms light-up feature. These 4 magnetic panels will cover up the exposed mechanical components on the lower legs and can be removed at your discretion. On to articulation. The head will rotate and rock a moderate amount, but will look up and down a significant degree. The Gatling gun is highly articulated and by a series of 3 pivot points can be aimed in virtually any direction. The shoulders are ball jointed and will shrug, dip, press, and row. Moving the pauldrons thusly will allow for the maximum amount of lateral lift, in this case just over 90 degrees. The arms will rotate at the shoulder a full 360 degrees. And the double jointed elbow allows for 120 degrees flex. Right out of the box, the torso already has a remarkable amount of range and can crunch, extend, and lean quite nicely, as well as hitting a respectable torso twist. A single pop extension inside the torso will allow for an even greater range. Double popping the hip joints and utilizing the flaps at the pelvis will allow for the maximum range of motion on the legs. The legs will then hit about 45 degrees of lateral lift, nearly 90 degrees of anterior lift, and about 30 degrees of posterior lift. The double jointed knees will give you about 110 degrees of flex. They will also rotate a bit at a break in the thigh. The feet will allow for a moderate amount of extension, contraction, pronation, and supination. And finally, a joint in the ball of the foot will allow for a much greater variety of realistic stances. Taking a closer look at all of the accessories, starting with the battle damage swap out armor bits. Here we have the battle damage chest plate, the face plate, the left pauldron, and the Gatling gun's barrel. Down here, these three bits will swap out for sections on the back, with this piece replacing part of the right forearm and this part replacing a bit of clavicle armor. Next up, we have a selection of weapons, including the Gatling gun with ammo belt and this tiny rocket that will mount into one of the shoulder's launchers. These four magnetic panels will cover up the exposed mechanical components on the lower legs. In addition to the two fists that are already attached to the armor, these extra hands are also included with War Machine. They include these two repulsor firing hands, these hands with articulated digits, and a right saluting hand. And finally, here's a look at that diorama base, which takes its cues from the final battle at the Stark Expo. Also, we can't forget this stunning portrait of Don Cheadle as War Machine himself, Colonel James Rhodes. This has been Sideshow's first look at the War Machine Mark I die-cast 6-scale figure by Hot Toys from Iron Man 2. Be sure to follow Unsealed and Revealed, How to Be a Poser, and strike a pose for even more 6-scale figure shenanigans. If you'd like more information about this figure, follow the link below. And as always, don't forget to let your geek side show.
Did you enjoy that video? Be sure to subscribe by hitting the S icon on your screen and click the bell icon to be notified whenever a new video is posted. If you'd like more info on the items featured in this video, click the link provided under product info. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to let your geek side show.